Well, our participants is still 85, but it is okay. First of all, greetings to all of our dearest participants. So we will start our session for today. Well, our session for today will include a theme that is not very popular in the course of international relations. But first of all, I would like to remind all of our dearest participants to please turn on your camera for the attendance requirements that you will all be monitored throughout the session. So we will be monitoring you all, and we will also screenshot all of your attendance requirements. So please do turn on your camera. And then for any inquiries or sudden requests, you can communicate our PIC1, which today are me, myself, Kezia, and Mega. You can look for their name, which started with the term PIC1. So after that, we will introduce our loveliest, dearest speaker for today. So for the operator, would you please? Yes. For the operator,
recording
maybe.
in progress.
Well, to be waiting for the, yes, thank you very much. Our speaker for today, which is Nehemia Cesare Valentino Rakers. He is a very highly motivated person in terms of sports and child rights. Yes, he is an alumni of Diponegoro University International Relations, and he is a part of Football Association of Indonesia. He has a license in this, so his career has been focused around teaching mental resilience, giving education for children through coaching in football. Yes, so for our theme for today, he is very, very, very eligible and very suited. He is also his work also include project consultant at Save the Children Indonesia until now, since 2021, which is now until now. And then he is also an intern at American Chamber of Commerce. And once again, he is a football coach at Coaching for Life project, which started from 2019 till now. And he is also a football coach at Lille Kickers Indonesia from 2019 till now. For his roles in volunteering, community work, and organizations, he has been a part of FIFA fan movement member since 2021, and he used to be a president of Diponegoro MUN, Model United Society, since 2016 till 2017. Well, you know from this CV that he is very, very into organizational activities, and he has done a lot since his times in Diponegoro University. Maybe we can take a little bit of look at his achievements. Yes, he is selected as a representative of West Java, Australia, Indonesia Youth Exchange Program. He is also one of the most outstanding delegate in United Nations Security Council, which from the Model United Nations since 2018, and you can also look at his achievements as an outstanding delegate in his times, actively being a part of Model United Nations in his times in Diponegoro University. Maybe that's all. I could describe. Maybe take a little bit of profiling from his CV, curriculum vitae. Now, Mr. Nehemia Cesare, we would like to welcome you to this session, to the screen, and to greet the participants, please.
Thank you very much, Areta, for the introduction. That's very kind of you. I cannot stop smiling because it was so funny when you read it out loud. So yeah, thank you very much for the moderator and all the committees from this summer course, especially Mas Satya, my sort of guardian. the lecturer that is my guardian back in my days in university. So thank you very much, everyone. And Like Areta already said, I'm Nehemia Cesare, and I graduated back in 2018. But after all my MUN experiences and organizations, and I turned out to be a football coach. So I don't know, maybe Mas Satya can be surprised as well about that. So yeah, today we will be talking about education. We will be talking about character in children in education, and how sports can even make an impact in our local communities. So thank you everyone for joining in. I see a lot of students here, and I assume that many of you are IR students. So it might not, yeah, Areta put it nicely, that it might not be a popular team in international relations, but it is relevant. And uh, I hope that you can learn something from this discussion today. So I want to put this not too long. So hopefully you can get what you can from this presentation, and I want for the participants to enjoy this discussion by asking questions, and you can turn on your camera, and that will be very much appreciated. So yeah, before I start the discussion, I want to know my audience first. So moderator, can you go next? So before we begin, I want to know the audience. So before this, I want to know what sports do you play? So do you usually play sports? Maybe some of you play sports professionally, or even you play sports regularly, just for fun, or just type in what type of sports do you play. Do you play football or futsal? So you can type it in the chat box so I can know what type of sports do you play. Okay, volleyball and swimming for fun. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, volleyball. I started playing volleyball when watching Haikyuu. Any Haikyuu fans here? Okay, yeah, yeah, okay. Spotted the Haikyuu fans. Any other? Okay, okay, that's still sports. Okay, badminton, swimming, running, dance. Yep, Areta, nice. Dance is still sports, I think. Breaking a sweat, basketball and football. Football with my younger brother. Wow, that is nice. Jogging. Oh, okay. So a lot of sports fans here. Okay, okay. I want to ask Debbie, Cynthia. Can you open your mic?
Oh yeah, hello.
Hello, Debbie. Is your nickname Debbie?
Yeah, sure. You can call me Debbie.
Okay, Debbie. I want to ask you. In your experience playing volleyball, swimming, badminton, and tennis, do you see any aspect in those sports that are relatable to your life?
Oh yeah, surely. I'm at connection.
Yep. Can you give me
I'm
an
at
example?
actually through sports. I'm at connection to some of my friends, especially
Okay.
tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Play tennis with, which is not in my circle. University in university, I play tennis at. I study in President University, so we have kind of like uh, a free access to play tennis in Jababeka
Mm-hmm.
Gold. So I met a lot of businessman there, and also youngster that is actually into business. So I met my connection trip there to get several idea and some sponsorship and kind of stuff that is
Okay.
actually helping in my project in university. Also
Okay.
volleyball teach me to do some teamwork, and also we play
Yep.
volleyball also in some kind of like, what do you call it, like we have like a cup back then,
Okay.
and with the children around the place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think
Okay.
for me it's just make connection and have
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
Yes.
I get I get from you is connection and teamwork, and that is well put. Thank you very much for answering. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
and I want to ask more actually, because there's a lot of people playing sports here, but I should continue. So thank you very for your answers in the question. And why I ask whether some of you guys play sports is that I want to know whether you enjoy it, or whether you just enjoy watching it, for example. like me, I'm not a professional player of football. I just enjoy playing futsal. I just enjoy, if there's enough players, because football takes a lot of players, right? So it's not that easy to gather that many people to play football. So I play futsal usually. And I want to, why I ask is because there's a lot of things that you can get from sports, and we will talk about that today. So yeah, we can go next. This is my short profile, which already been talked about. So in my days after university, I actually think can we go next? I actually really like sports, even in my university days. Because I mentioned in my CV as well that I am in, if I can say it in bahasa, it's minat dan bakat in himpunan mahasiswa. So yeah, it's talent and interest in English. So I am also a staff in there. So yeah, I pretty much enjoy sports, and so before I graduated, I wanted to find out whether I can make it as a sports football coach, because I really love it and I call it a passion. You know, I I will enjoy it. I enjoy working in a sports field. So I find out that it is possible for you to get a football coach, licensed coach, for a coach. So in early 2019, after I graduated, I took a license to become a football coach. And then there are doors open for me, which is to become Little Kickers assistant coach, and also one of the 35 coaches in Coaching for Life program that is made by Arsenal and Save the Children. So yeah, I'm actually blessed to have these two opportunities that actually paved the way of me in starting my way in coaching football. So actually, initially, I wanted to coach football. Whatever it is and whoever I coach, I just want to play football and I just want to teach football. But in my journey, something changed. So next. So my initial goal was to coach football wherever it is. And actually, Little Kickers, if I can explain more, Little Kickers Indonesia is where I teach football to children aged 2 to 7. So there's when I say little children, there's very little. So they can barely even move their feet even. So there's so little, but we teach it in international schools around Jakarta. So if you know British School Jakarta, Australia International, things, and so on and so forth. So yeah, we are trying to teach football. So basically, I want to teach football. But after I joined the program that I'm in right now, it changes into changing lives through football. So the goal has changes. It's shifted. And what happened is what we are trying to discuss today. So next. So what happened in this program is that the program is called Coaching for Life program in Indonesia. And why I said in Indonesia, because there is two places that this program is done. The other one is in Jordan, and this one is in Jakarta, in Indonesia, in Jakarta. And in Jordan, they are doing it in a refugee camp. Probably you notice that Jordan is near Syria, and Syria is a bit war torn since 2011, probably, or yeah, in earlier the 2010s decade, they're war torn, and a lot of people from Syria fled their country and they go to Jordan. And one of the refugee camps in Jordan, it's called Za'atari refugee camp. They put a football pitch there and they do this program there. And Indonesia, they're doing it in Jakarta, but not in the fancy part of Jakarta, but in the slum area, urban slum area in Jakarta. So what we're trying to do in this program is that we want to equip children under vulnerable conditions with life skills and build their mental resilience, build their character. And when I say vulnerable conditions, it could be many things. It could be financial challenge. It could be family issues. It could be education. They could be disabled. I coach one boy that is disabled once, and also severe sickness. And it could be anything. But most of them, they are I can say almost all of them is under the line of poverty. So because after we're doing it, we need to give them football shoes. We need to give them shirts, and yeah, most of them cannot afford even futsal or football shoes. And how we equip them with life skills is we use a football coaching model that uses football as a way to discuss themes that are relatable to life circumstances. So football is just a means to an end. It's just a way for us to create scenarios that are relatable, that are, lifelike. So these scenarios will lead us to discussions. So if I can put it, in a nutshell, this football coaching model is different because there is a lot of discussions. There's a lot of discussions that we do when we are doing the sessions. And like I said, in the third point, we are doing it in urban slums area, and this program is free of charge. We want as many children to join, and we have been doing it since 2019. So and we are doing it in 7 arpitras. Arpitras in Bahasa is Ruang Publik Terpadu Ramah Anak, or Child Free Space in Jakarta. There's a lot of them, and Arsenal built the football pitch there because initially the arbitras do not have a good football pitch. It is just plain dirt and soil, so it's not a proper football pitch actually. So next. Okay, so yeah, and when we were talking about building character, actually Indonesia starting to realize that character is actually important in education, and we are trying to sort of complement it with football. So in the presidential decree number 87 in 2017, the president said that we need to strengthen about character education. And in the first article, they said that they recognize that strengthening students' character can be done through sports, out of all things. So the Indonesia is starting to realize that sports cannot be left behind in education. And Article 2B, they said that improving Indonesia's platform of education needs to put character at the heart of education. So they're starting to realize it. And I want to notice that Indonesia is starting to realize, but we still don't know the extent of this decree. We still don't know how sport is being implemented, how this decree is being implemented, how many schools are doing it. So there's no research yet on the effectiveness of this decree. But we will notice it that Indonesia is starting to realize that character and mental resilience is important. And next. So what we are doing in this program is that we are trained. We are trained in a certain way because, as you can see in this in this picture, probably you see that I'm the youngest, and in fact I'm the youngest, and I'm also the most clueless actually in this program, because I'm an international relations graduate, and all of them here, literally all of them is a football coach already. They have presidents, they have experience in coaching, but I have none. So in a way I've been trained as I go. And why do we need training? Even if you are already experienced coach, you need training because, like I said, this program is different. We need training because we will do a lot of discussions. We will ask a lot of questions. We need to bring out a lot of scenarios that are lifelike in our trainings. So that is why in here, if you can see that in the top left and in the middle, in the top middle, I'm actually not coaching football, but I'm talking to them. I'm discussing. I'm asking questions. So this is what we are trying to do in this program. We will ask a lot of questions. And how do we exactly do it? Well, I will discuss later in this slides. We can go next. So I think I have this is the one. So when back before the coronavirus hits, we are playing it in the football field, and this is one of the games that that is from one of my favorite themes to be discussed. It is about empathy. So it is in the module of interpersonal relationship, how you deal with others, how you communicate with others. So it is about empathy, and this is just a simple cat and mouse game. If you don't understand football, you still understand playing tag, right? Cat chases the mouse and the mouse tries to run away from the cat. It is pretty simple, right? But the rule is just simply we add a square where the cat or the mouse cannot go through. So they need to go around the squares. So if you imagine this game, the cat will have a hard time, right? Because the mouse can just simply wait for the cat. If they move to the left, then they will just run away. It's pretty simple. So how we do this, how did we do this differently is that let's just say we start the game without any footballs. So they just run around and try to tag the mouse. The cat tries to tag the mouse. If it is possible, if they do it successfully, then the mouse will become the cat. They will substitute in roles. So what we do is that we try to play it for 1 or 2 minutes. Probably have a hard time, right? And after that, I will blow the whistle and just call them to me and make a circle, some sort of, and ask which one is harder, being the cat or the mouse. Probably the one that is being the mouse will still say mouse, but they're still laughing because the cat cannot tag them, because it's very hard, because you cannot go past the squares, and the cat will be angry because cat is harder. So yeah, we send them back. Okay, we get their answer, we send them back, and then we switch the roles, and we will see whether the mouse can tag the cat, the previous mouse. So because you need to switch the roles, right? And then after that, after we see that they are actually struggling, we gather them again. So we ask them, so which one is harder, mouse or the cat or the mouse? And everyone will probably say the cat. Well, the one that previously becomes the mouse change their answers, probably. Because why? Because they now feel how it feels to be a cat. So, and then I will point that out. Well, you said mouse before. Why do you say mouse? Why you say cat now? Well, because I felt it now. Well, that's actually, you're already practicing empathy. What is empathy? Have you ever heard of empathy? And what do you think about when you hear empathy? And then they will start answering. Hopefully, they will start answering the questions. And then we ask them again: is it important to have empathy, to feel what the others are feeling, to think of others' perspective? Is it important? And do you do it in your daily life? What are the examples? Probably they will say the most common answer is that when your friend is hungry and you will buy them something of a snack, jajan in bahasa Indonesia. So it's the most common answers that I get actually from this team. So as you can see, that this is actually a really simple game, but we can put it more relevant to our life. And this is just one team, because we have a lot more teams, and I will discuss it later. And we can go next. So other than this offline session, we also do online session, because thankfully in the online session we can still manage to discuss about daily life. And the exercises, it's for the sports, it's pretty hard, because like I said before, they are living in urban slums area, so there's not a lot of space that they can exercise in. So we try our best to still do the sports, but we still want to equip them with life skills. So I want all of you guys to answer this in the chat box. So read this scenario, this football scenario, and then you put your answers in the chat box, okay? So the scenario is, you are one of the player in a local football team, okay? And your team is in a run of good form. They're doing pretty well. So you've been beating everything. You're winning everything until you made it into the round of 16, to the last 16. But at that point, it is you need to face the next opponent, which is the title holder, meaning that they have been champions for the last 5 years. So this is your next opponent. So I want to ask you, how would you feel going to this match? So put your answer in the chat box on how would you exactly feel going up against the champions for the last 5 years. Oh, thank you very much for the answer. That was pretty quick. There is nothing to lose and just enjoy the experience. Wow, that is a good answer. Ken Hananto, that is a good answer. Scared, anxious. Obviously, I would be too. A little nervous, but excited as well. Screw it. What does that mean? Screw it. Sandra, what does that mean? Okay, any other answers? Nervous, but also excited. Yes, that is a good answer. feel pressured, but I have confidence in my skill to face them. Maybe confused. Okay. Might be nervous, feel motivated to give the best. Okay, that is really specific. And you mentioned Liverpool, and I'm a football fan, and I know Liverpool in Istanbul. Okay, amazing. Thank you guys for the answers. So yeah, next, why do I ask these questions is that what we get from these answers is two things. Yep, weird. Okay, definitely two things. We want to normalize emotions and we want to humanize emotions. The first thing is that it is possible for different people to react differently to the same circumstance. As you can see in the chat box, there's a lot of discussions about, some of them may be feeling confused, feeling pressured, feeling motivated, excited, probably saying screw it, like Sandra here, and nothing to lose. Just enjoy the experience. That is a good answer, actually. So yeah, there's a lot of emotions here felt by a lot of different people by the same scenarios. So the first point is that you can feel different things from the same scenario, and that is perfectly normal. So you don't need to feel that you are different. So it is normal for different people to feel different things. You can be sad of a certain issue, or you can be crying happy tears, that is completely normal. And the second one is that the emotion that you feel are also felt by others. So probably when we're talking about emotions, one of the things that are putting people down is that they feel isolated. They feel like they are the ones that they are the only ones that are feeling this way, so they cannot be understood by others. Probably a lot of people in the participants can also tell that feeling that way is not good. Feeling you feel isolated, you feel that you're alone. So what we want to say is that the emotion that you feel are also felt by others. So it's completely human to feel emotions. So that is what we are doing in the online session, and we are doing it also in the offline session. But in the online session, this is more focused because there's more discussion that are being done. Thank you very much for the answers in the chat box. And actually there is yeah, the discussion going to football now. Okay, next. Okay, like I said, I mentioned emotions, I mentioned about empathy, about interpersonal relationship, and we also discuss about communication. We also discuss about interpersonal relationship, and we also discuss about decision making, conflict management, and I also forgot put one of them, which is identity. Identity is about appreciating yourself, about knowing your abilities, knowing where you lack, and you accept yourself as who you are. And even though there are still places that you want to improve, you still need to accept yourself and need to appreciate yourself. That's identity. And decision making, we put emphasis on having a goal and realizing that what you did today, what you do today, actually have repercussions, actually have consequences in your future. So that's actually really relevant to them, because we don't want them to make any decisions right now that will ruin their future. So instead of probably doing drugs or anything, because they are prone to that, and we want them to know that their decisions actually can bring consequences to their futures. Conflict management, interpersonal relationship, like I mentioned, empathy, trust, communication, how you communicate aggressively or passively. And all of these things are actually really important in life, but we don't see it being taught in our education, in our formal education. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to complement the education in schools, and we see that these things that we are teaching is not being taught in our school, the schools that they're in. Probably a lot of you go through formal schools and haven't learned about all these things formally. So one of my students, one of the players in my session actually said that when they mention about emotions in their school, they said that, well, emotions is not only angry, because if you're speaking Bahasa, you know that when we say emotion, we think of being angry, when in truth emotion is not just that. Emotion is being happy, emotion is surprised, confused, bored. But because of language, in Bahasa, they just talk about angry, and their teacher actually surprised because the student actually understand that emotion is not just angry. And then the teacher asked, well, where did you get that? Where do you learn that? Well, from my football coach. So that's actually one of the good thing that that came out. And then, so yeah, we want them to learn about all these things, not by themselves, not by we don't want to expect life to teach them all this, because this is actually an important skills, in when they're working, when we're trying to find work. Companies want to find people with character, with likable character, with perseverance, that can deal with adversity. So these are the things that we want to equip them with. Next. So let's talk about impact. So this is one of the student of mine also. I coached them. I coached her back in 2019 at the start of my program. So she's actually chosen to go to Jordan and to New York to speak in a UN event. And if you ask me, what are your proudest achievement, I just probably say this. As a coach, as a teacher, it's really a really proud moment. Even though I don't coach her personally, she's just a student, but I'm still really proud of her. And at the UN event, it is a high-level political forum made by UNICEF, and she's speaking about child marriage, because Indonesia is in the top 10 of child marriage, and we will see the video after this. So yeah, I'm really proud, and right now we can just see the video of what she's speaking about. And also I have another video of the Arsenal player coming to Jakarta to show to see and witness the program that we are doing here. So yeah, enjoy the video. Can you share the sound as well? Because don't forget to share the sound.
Bisa bermain bebas seperti teman-teman.
Okay, good.
Masa kecil yang indah dia seharusnya bermain, belajar, jadi digantikan dengan mengurus suami, anak, dan mengatur keuangan ekonomi. Di situ berhenti sekolah juga di usia yang masih muda. Dia tidak bisa bermain bebas seperti teman-temannya. Terus dia juga depresi. Saya nggak setuju dengan adanya pernikahan anak, karena masa depan anak akan hilang.
Okay, and there's another one, so stay tuned.
Dari income mereka, dia tujuannya pengen mainnya.
So landed yesterday, come down to see one of the pitches that Save the Children and the Arsenal Foundation have put together. Can't wait to start speaking to the girls and seeing how football and the pitches and the Coaching for Life project has changed these kids' lives. Hi! I'm Leah.
Dia
Apa khabar?
baik.
So you told me you get up at 6 a.m. to start the day.
Kalau dia pagi bangun jam 6 buat berangkat sekolah, ngambil dagangan orang. Pulang sekolah dia jualan di samping rumah.
Do you work to help your family?
Dia harus bekerja karena kalau misalnya dia nggak bekerja, mama dia sama adik dia mau dimakan nasi makan apa? Mengangkat derajat keluarga dia jadi lebih baik.
Kalau di sana ada untuk coaching sepak bolanya juga, tapi ada juga yang untuk resiliensinya, coaching mengenai sepak bola. Juga kita akan memberikan mereka cara untuk hidup yang lebih baik, berteman, saling mengerti, saling menghormati, menghargai satu dengan yang lainnya.
Adanya program ini sangat membantu buat dia. Jadi senang gitu.
It's the same for me when I play football. It's exactly the same. I go and do it because I love doing it and it makes me very, very happy. This is me. These are my teammates and these are the men's first team.
Seperti dia. Dia juga kalau main bola juga banyaknya laki-laki, cuma dia doang perempuan. Gak usah main bola gitu. Terus juga ada temen dia satu lagi ngomong sok banget gitu main bola sama laki-laki biar dibilang apa katanya gitu. Menurut dia mereka itu kayak angin lah berlalu.
I love that. That's why I played with boys growing up as well. So make sure you don't listen to them. Keep doing what you're doing because it's obviously paving the way.
Perjuangannya dia itu salah satunya dia pengen mama dia bangga sama dia. Mama dia itu jadi pahlawan dia lah, pahlawan semuanya.
Why I'm so proud to have been here with the Arsenal Foundation and Save the Children is because this is a long-term investment. You know, it gives them hope. So it says, to dear, dream big and never stop fighting.
All right. Thank you very much. So you can access that video as well in YouTube if you want the link. So if you can see that there's also Leah Williamson. There's actually the Arsenal and England captain for the women's team. That is, it is a proud moment because I've met her and she actually came to Jakarta to meet Dia, and I also met Dia as well in Cililitan in Jakarta. So next. So when we're talking about impacts, there's a lot of things, but this is a long-term investment, like Leah said actually. So we don't make an impact that is immediate or instant, but we want to provide a platform for them to to be equipped with life skills when adversity or when trouble came their way. They have the skills to deal with that problem, whatever it is. We might not know in the future, but this is a long-term investment for them. And the other impacts that we are doing is that gender equality, like you heard in the video, is that even a girl that is like Dia, that is actually really good at playing football, they still received she still received raising eyebrows, and a lot of people actually doubted her, and it's not good. So we want to just provide a platform for her to play, and her friends, and a lot of people in Jakarta, a lot of girls in Jakarta. So we are striving to strengthen gender equality, and we also develop character and mental resilience because our modules discuss a lot of the themes that I've talked about, and also creating safe spaces for children. Like I said, the safe spaces are for children because they have the right to play, they have the right for spaces for them to express themselves. So yeah, what they're doing, Arsenal and Save the Children are actually providing the platform for children to access their rights. Next. So this is just to summarize. So character is an important aspect in life, and we don't want to learn. We don't want expect to learn that by ourselves. We want it to be taught, because so it should be taught more in our education. And Indonesia is starting to realize that, but we are trying to complement it, and we are trying to we want it to be recognized more as an important aspect in education. And the second one is, it is possible to bring an impact to your communities through football. And this is just one of the many possibilities. And, like I asked in the first time, how many of you play sports and what type of sports? There's a lot of sports that people enjoy. And we can just use more than that. We can use volleyball, we can use probably chess or basketball. There's a lot of things, and probably art, dance. There's a lot of things that we can use that is unconventional, that is different. We can explore the potential. And because I recognize that there's a lot of IR students here, and I'm also IR students, if you can see that Arsenal and Save the Children, they're actually a transnational actors. So they're actually an actor from other countries that making a change in our country. So it's cross state, and they're not a government. They actually are a non-government organization and also a football club. So it is possible for non-government actors like this to make a change in our country as well, and in other country. And what I want to say is that the issue of IR is actually all around us. Like I mentioned about gender equality, about education, about creating safe spaces for children. This is all the issues that UNICEF, UNDP are talking about. But they're dealing with the policy area. They're dealing it in the government area, and they're making policy about it. But what I'm doing here is actually the grassroots level, the practical level of it. So if there's no program like this, if there's no projects that are being done in the grassroots level, there's not going to be a change in the communities that are actually impacted. So that is why there are two sides here, the policy or the practical, and you can go both ways. Which brings me to the last point, which is, as an IR student, you're actually jack of all trades. You can actually go anywhere because you have knowledge of about almost everything, let's say that. So you can explore actually apart from the conventional IR understanding. It's not just Ministry of Foreign Affairs and being diplomats. Actually, you can be anything. You can explore what you're good at and your passion, and you can try to explore. Because if you think that I am passionate in child rights, well, when I graduated in international relations, I never even imagined for a slight moment that I want to work with kids, because I cannot deal with them. It's hard. They're like little devils. They go around and screaming like that. So it's not easy. But when I go there, I realized, oh, I can actually make a change through something that I love. So probably you won't realize it now. You won't know your passion now. But when you start, you make a step. You then will realize it. There will be doors open. There will be knowledge being taught to you as you go. So no worries, because everyone's still learning. Okay, next. I think my discussion has come to an end actually. Next. I have sorry, go back first. And previously, I think I have a picture of my coaching days as well. Yep, here it is. Oh, too far. Go next ones. So yeah, when Leah Williamson came to Indonesia, they actually come to Cililitan, but I am actually coaching in North Jakarta. So yeah, this is the pitch that I'm in North Jakarta, and this is the girls that I'm coaching. I really like this picture because yeah, it was a proud moment. I was really happy when coaching them. So fun. And next, yep, I have come to the end of my discussion. So if you want to get connected, I have an Instagram, I have LinkedIn. You can search for my name. I think my name is not that common, so you can find it immediately. I will type it in the chat. So yeah, thank you very much everyone for coming to this talk, and I'm looking forward for your questions, and hopefully I can answer them.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Nehemia Cesare. Well, I'm gonna give a little conclusion of your session, which is the theme is building mental resilience through sport in Indonesia. Well, Indonesia, uh, especially in Indonesia, children is actually a part of international action, but often not included in a discussion within international relations, international affairs, and international politics. Well, as you have told us before, you use sport as a medium of education, and it is already actually written in Indonesia decree,
Yep.
teaching through simple games about the value in life and a need of building and developing skill in life through sport. Well, children are not in a place of making decisions since it is written because of their age, but their quality of life and quality of education is very important and have to be empowered. Not to mention the equality of gender, each gender for children and every rights as a children. Maybe that's all from my conclusion. We're gonna move on to the question and answer session. So please, for all of our participants who would like to ask some questions or give us some remarks, please do raise your hands. Don't forget to turn on your camera and turn on your mic. So yes, we already have a participant who wants to ask us. So for Mr. Muhammad Alif, you may open your mic, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I really enjoyed this lecture because, as an international relations student myself, I noticed a lot of the, in the Cold War era, a lot of the socialist country like USSR and China have a very good sports complex system and really encourage their citizens to be healthy and to like do at least to move, unlike me who barely even move in this pandemic. So my question is this: do you think that as a sports coach or as someone who has influence in the sports with and dealing with some like in some sense the politics, or like the handling with the children, child rights, do you think that it is possible for you or maybe for any other actor to lobby to the, maybe not to the central government, but at the very least to the local government to actually have a maybe not well like the main goal for me, or and what I'm thinking of is to have like a very good sports complex and a very good campaign to make the local people or maybe the whole of Indonesia to have a healthier body and make a healthier life choices. Do you think it's possible, even though maybe you're not part of a political party, or maybe just I don't mind, I don't mean to degrade you, but like only a coach, not like a representative from a party or a representative. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, I will answer the questions immediately. Okay, so there is actually a good point from Alif, right? Okay, so Alif actually made a good point, because we want more people to join. Maybe not just children, but a lot of people that can join. So as you mentioned, in local probably complex or everything, from the government itself, they actually improved the arbitras, the safe spaces for children thing. So in the arbitras, there's actually a lot of activities going there. It's not just football, but also a lot other things. There's also dance, actually, a traditional dance, and I actually like that, because they're preserving our culture while also moving their body and breaking a sweat. So there is one way for the government are already doing what you're doing, actually, Alif, but maybe not as sophisticated as you imagine it, probably in other country, but we are going there. That is the thing. And what is important is that we make the step, and then we realize that actually this thing is actually making an impact, because what I mentioned before is that they are actually living in a place that is we call it slum. And I went actually to one of the arbitra in Menteng Dalam. It's actually not that far from a really luxurious mall in Jakarta that actually made a lot of traffic, But not far from there is actually a really, really small complex of houses that are, it's so very tight. Even motorcycles hardly passes there. So these are the disparity that we are seeing in Jakarta. And what the government is trying to do is that they need some sort of, muse. They need to do something that, probably exercise and do, like I said, probably sports or dance. So yeah, the government already starting to realize that. But like I mentioned, we need to do it to a lot of people that are, hardly get any entertainment, some sort. Let's say that. So we want them to do something that is productive and actually helping our culture as well, like doing traditional dance. And I noticed that in summer course also there's a traditional dancer that will make an appearance, and that is actually good as well. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Alif.
Yes, that does answer my question. Thank you very much for answer for your lecture, and I do hope I have a luscious beard like you in the future. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Alif, for the questions.
Well, thank you for Mr. Muhammad Ali Farhan. Now we're gonna go to the next question, still in the Zoom. For Yuta Triwaskita, may you please open your camera and open your mic?
Okay, thank you so much. Before I'd like to apologize because I can't turn on my camera and my mic in same time. Otherwise, my voice won't be here. Okay, such a nice lecture, Mr. Cesare. But I'd like to ask you some special during this special moment, especially this pandemic outbreak. Uh, how yeah, sorry, is there any method, a new method, especially during quarantine protocol and COVID-19 protocol? And I think that sport is one of the prohibited things to do during this pandemic. Yeah. Can you tell me what is your new method or something like that? Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for the question as well. Probably I already mentioned it, but probably is not the mentioned enough. So yeah, we actually went online for this program. So thankfully the goal for this program is for the resilience, the mental resilience, the life skills. So all these things, all these topics can also be explored in online sessions. So we still do a Zoom sessions with the children in many arbitrage, but the exercise we try to do it as much as we can. So probably we do a video, we provide a video for them to do the exercise with, and we are doing it live, probably tell them to move like the coach. So the sport is actually really hit really hard, pretty hard, because we cannot do as much as we usually do, because the session is much more fun if we are doing the football session, but we are still trying. But the life skills and the team that we are discussing is still there. So the Zoom sessions in every week it is still there. So the discussion is pretty much like the scenarios that I told you to write down. What do you feel when you are going to that match, when you are facing the champions or before in the presentation? So it's pretty much like that. So we are just discussing a lot of things. So I would say 80% of them is discussing about the life skills, about the topic, and 20% is moving your body and exercising. But back before the COVID, and now actually we are trying to improve, and we are trying to gradually move back to offline. So yeah, in the middle of COVID, the pandemic, we are going to Zoom. I forgot actually who asked the question, but thank you very much for the question.
For Yuta Triwaskita, thank you for the question. Do you have any more remarks or any more questions regarding this?
Yes, I have one remark. Much more like question. Okay, is there any like cultural shock when your children, your student actually, the student from offline then to online then to offline again, and is there any something like cultural shock?
Okay, so yeah. There is actually a good question, because I've not mentioned this before, but the students that applied actually expected a football program, and then they get a Zoom session just like their schools they have gone online, right? So the shock was that maybe we don't call it a shock, but they there is a mis-expectation there. They expected football, but they get just the Zoom online session. But uh, from what we get, we still have a lot of positive takes from even the Zoom sessions, from the online sessions, even though we realize that they don't get as much of the football as they should. And actually the girls, actually the girls session, that usually they don't have that much time to do sports in their school, right? Because probably they just have one field, and then the guys are playing playing football, so they don't have any space. So the girls actually pretty bummed about the fact that we just do a Zoom session. So if you ask for that kind of shock, then that is the answer. That is the answer, actually, because if the online session is actually just like a usual school class, but the difference is that we don't do any exams, we don't have any questions that they have to answer. But yeah, it's just providing a platform for children to share. So that's it. Thank you again. Actually, this is a good question.
Thank you. Maybe it's already been cleared up. I think we're gonna move on to the next person, which is Sandra Natania Wijaya. Please do turn on your mic and please give us your question. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So, so me personally, I love watching the Olympic Games, and I do like playing sport like swimming, volleyball, and marathon. So, but I also want to contribute to our society, actually, especially dealing with the homeless children. And it's a shame that I had never acknowledged this coaching for life program till today from Kak Cesar. So I want to say thank you for shedding some light on me. And the question that I want to ask is that about the program. So why the condensed and slum area in Jakarta and not other condensed places in other island, for example? And the second question is that for me, I think that Indonesia has not put many thought in competitive sport events like Olympic, AFC, even FIFA. So what do you think about that? Thank you.
Okay. That is a really substantive question, so I will try to answer that. So the first thing, why is it not anywhere else in any other islands? So actually, this is the decision that is made from Save the Children and Arsenal, and I think one of the reasons why is that, like I mentioned before, Jakarta have a really high disparity of wealth. Let's just say, because like I mentioned before, there is a district of high-end malls, and then near that there is a really small spaces for a lot of people, and a lot of children actually are living there, but they don't have enough spaces to actually have an entertainment or to move their body and everything. They don't have a safe space for them. So yeah, I think the Arsenal and Save the Children recognize that they can actually do something about this in Jakarta, in the capital, because if the capital is doing like this, there is not a good side. So probably that's one of the reason that I can think of. And the next thing, probably because they're doing this collaboratively, so they're doing this together. And Save the Children is active in 3 places, which is Jakarta, South Sulawesi, and Nusa Tenggara, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So there are 3 options for them to do this, and they can monitor them closely. So and they also think about the third thing, which is about the coaches, the availability of coaches, because we need a lot of coaches, which is 35, and I'm one of them. And I think they also think about the availability of the manpower to do this thing. So yeah, I think that answers the first question. And the second question about competitive sports, I'm not in the place to answer this, but I think one of the things that we can do, actually, the one of the things that the sports ministry and everything can do is that we raise more grassroots level competition, because a lot of things that the major thing that is different with Indonesia and probably a lot of the countries that are successful in sports is because they have grassroots level competition for children to try to join competition and try uh, to compete. And that is actually where coaches can also improve the competitiveness of Indonesia, because as if I'm not mistaken, coaches in other countries, they don't just have better license to coach better teams. Even if they get a better license, they still can coach grassroots levels, because there's actually that's actually the part where it is important. So when I say grassroots levels, it could be children from age 6 to 10 to 11. So it's actually kids that are still really small, so we can improve that technical ability. So when they decided that they want to do sports professionally, they have the ability, they have the techniques, and then they can move on to more advanced things like football intelligence. If I'm talking about football, they can move to morale, they can move to tactics. But in Indonesia, we are left behind, because even when they are already in under 16, under 19, they're still trying to learn about techniques. They're still trying to run fast and endurance and everything. So I think one of the things that we can try to improve, if we are talking about sports competitively, we need to raise more grassroots levels, and age that are really, let's say they're still at a really young age, so they can improve their techniques and their abilities really young. So that, I hope that answers your question for increasing competitiveness with other countries. Thank you for the question, actually, Sandra.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Cesare. Maybe for Sandra Natania Wijaya, do you have any more remarks or question, or is it clear enough?
Yeah, it's clear enough. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Then we're gonna move on to another next person, which is Pratama Indra. Pratama Indra, yes. Could you please open your mic and please do give us your question? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, MC, for giving me the chance to speak. Okay, so hello, Mr. Cesare. My name is Pratama. I would like to ask about your thing about mental education, things like that. So about building mental awareness, mental education to build their mental. You mentioned that you you help them to. Okay, so we have this case when you, like you mentioned before, your last question about facing a big team in the 16th round. Yeah, and I believe we have several players in that team. And what happened if someone in your team is feeling down, like they're not confident enough, like, okay, the rest of the team is okay with that, we're going to be motivated like a lot, like, okay, we're going to achieve this goal, but there is someone in your team that feels like, no, I can't do this, I cannot do that. So what happened if that happened in your team, and what are you going to do with that? So okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Oh, there's a very specific question relating to the scenarios, right? So yeah, there's actually what we are trying to do with empathy. We want them to feel what others are feeling. And let's just imagine this. I want to ask you a question, Indra. I want to ask a question to you. If you're feeling down, what do you expect your friends to do or your teammates to do?
To cheer me up.
Okay, to cheer you up. Then we have the answer already. So if you're feeling, if you see your friend feeling down, ask this question to yourself. If I'm feeling down, what do I want my friends to do? And you can do it to your friend, to your teammates. Probably your teammate that are really down, maybe just want to be left alone. It could be figured out when we are trying to cheer them up. Probably, okay, just leave me alone. Okay, that's still okay. And then you start to understand your friend more. And this is not just in football. This is not just in sports. This is also in daily life. This is also in, when you're dealing with organization, when you have a team, you have a team, you have a committee, and you need to work together towards a project. If, for example, Areta here trying to figure out about this summer course, they need to work in a team, and one of them is demotivated. You need to implement this type of life skills, which is to understand what they are feeling, and you need to put them in their shoes to think in their perspective. So this is more just about what the football is just pointing you to the scenarios in our lives. So there is actually the project, this project, what this project is all about. We're trying to bring up scenarios that are relatable to life circumstances. After we find that life circumstances, and then we discuss about that. So football is just a way to discuss about our life circumstances, the relevance of it. So yeah, Indra, that's probably what I would do, because if I'm feeling down, then I want someone else to cheer me up. And probably in other times I want to be left alone. But yeah, you need to think of others, and try to put it in your shoes. Yeah, I think that is the answer. Any follow-up question, probably?
Okay, I already received your feedback about how would you be when you are a player, right? But what if you are the coach, and what
Oh, okay.
to do?
Okay, if I am the coach, wow, that is a tough question. Because as a coach, you need to have this, a certain, timing to go to your players. So you need to understand when you can approach them, where if they're having a conflict, if he or she just feeling down. So yeah, I would just see what is the situation. If the situation is, if the scenario is just like the previous one, which is they're being demotivated, he or she just scared to face the opponent. I would just say that if you're not making this, if you're not doing this to your fullest right now, you will not probably get any other chance. If you don't, and let's think about it for a second. So yeah, I would probably just put them in this perspective where, this is your one chance, this is your time. So your time is now, so you cannot just think of the future, because the chance will not come twice. You will probably get another chance in another cup, in another competition, but the opponent that you face right now, it probably will just be right now. It will, so the present moment is here. So it has come, and you need to face it. So that is the kind of words that I probably will say to the player that is demotivated. So just say that, this is the present, and you need to face it. You cannot face it, you cannot just uh be in the future, and then you regret you're not nailing this competition, you're not nailing this match. You cannot regret and go back in time. That is impossible. So you need to do it now. So that's probably what I would say. I hope that is relevant to what you're asking. Because I made it on point, on the stage. I never prepared for this answer.
It's okay, it's totally relevant, and I so yeah, I'm so enlightened with what you say. Thank you very much, Mr. Cesar.
Okay, thank you, Indra.
Okay, thank you for the question and answer. Maybe I would like to remind for the participants once again to don't forget, do not turn off your camera, and please do not leave this room until the very end of the session, since you will always be monitored throughout the session. And then we will move on to another question, actually by one of our committee, which is very curious about your session. Her name is Titis Mega. She would like to ask about how do you still stand in this type of work until this day, and then what is your view for your your professionalism in coaching until maybe in the future. And then she would like to ask about regarding um, playing in the not playing, working in this type of field and working with children especially, and handling them. They are still in the stage of development. That's very, very difficult since they're very sensitive. So what are the ups and downs about it, and what since you have a lot to teach them, what do you have what do you learn from them?
Oh, wow, this is a rich question. Okay, so first question is that how do you still stand to this day working this? Well, the answer to that is I don't know. So it was pretty hard for me last year, especially because the Little Kickers is actually not operating anymore because the owner moved to Australia because it is a franchise. It is from UK, so you need a franchise, the owner of a franchise to come here. And for the project, it was halted for almost a year, so it was a pretty rough time to be a football coach. And I I want to be honest here that it's not always easy to work with your with your passion, because you're feeling some sort of insecure because people are doing real work, like they're doing in a research agency, they're doing it in other types of in a corporation, probably in e-commerce. It's fancy, and I want to try to be civil government. I want to try to be a diplomat, but last year's test I failed. Actually, I came second in the in the result, but I did not match for I did not made it because of the health issues. So yeah, like, to answer your question, it's not always easy because working, it's working with your passion. You will love it, but it will not probably you will not receive as much money as you to keep you afloat, let's just say that. So yeah, it's but I'm really blessed to be a football coach. And why I say that, because it turns out in 2021 I managed to be chosen as the representative for Australia Indonesia Youth Exchange Program, which is actually a really high level exchange because it's made by Menpora and the Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs. And one of the reasons why I was chosen is because of this program, because I'm a football coach, because what I'm doing is different. What I'm doing is not usual. And I'm thankful of that. I'm thankful that I'm still standing. And what's next for my professionalism is that after my program in Australia Indonesia Youth Exchange, I need to have a post-program activity, and I'm hoping to build a football academy for girls in my hometown, Bekasi. So that is what's next for me, because I feel like football academy or football schools in Jakarta and in Bekasi, everywhere for boys is already a lot. In comparison, probably it's 95% of football schools for boys. So I want to provide one for girls, and I hope that because of this exchange, I can get some sort of grant to help me to build this academy. And to deal with children, well, thankfully I I don't deal with children that are 2 to 7 years old anymore, because those are the hardest. Children at that age, they don't understand what you're saying to them. They just understand what they want to do and what they like and what they we have this in this session, we have stickers, we have probably, yeah, we have stickers and probably some sort of gift, as some sort of like that. So when they are getting cranky, we need to try to say to them, like, if you want a sticker, then you need to behave, something like that. So it's not my type. It's not my type. It's really not my thing to do that. But it teach me about patience. It teach me that everything can be learned. Really, I never imagined that I want to work with children. It's not in my dream. And then suddenly I can still do it, because it turns out everything can be learned. That is what I learned so far. And being a coach is that even though you hate working with children, turns out it's still possible. And being a football coach, I'm the only one that has no experience in it, but turns out it is possible as well. So surprise yourself. It's possible, it turns out. So yeah, if I hope that answers your question, Titis, because yeah, there is a rich question that is really substantive. And let's stay connected. If you want to ask more questions, and every participants, you can follow my Instagram and ask more questions if you want.
Well, thank you for the elaboration and the answer. That because I have a little bit curiosity also about how you handled, children around that age in terms of football. That will be a very difficulty. Maybe
Yep.
we will move on to the next person, which is Debbie Shintia. Debbie Shintia, you may open your mic and please to give us your question. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the opportunity, and I would like to ask you about this. How do you think actually sport could give a better or improvement on the children mental resilience, since like I don't really play a lot of sport back in my kids back in the old or in my elementary school, or even in my kindergarten. I start sport when I was like in high school, I think. That's because I think it's fun, so, and I want to do something better. And I didn't realize it actually could change or could affect my mental resilience. And how do you think it's important for the kids to have a mental resilience? Uh and as I know that Save Children is an NGO, right?
Mhm.
And I think it's relatable to international relations students, since it's
Yep.
NGO, even though like you are coach or just
Yep.
coach or not into the board. But I think it's still in IR term. In
Yep.
fact, I really want to know that how this, and I really want to work in NGO. I'm currently have my own NGO with my lecturer and my friends. We have also the our program called same kind of like we want to help children in Indonesia, but not to sport, but into more
Mhm.
like children that have or facing into a lot of problem in their houses, which is like
Mhm.
assault in house in home, which
Okay.
is in Indonesia still have a lot of problem. How do you think the sport could help the children from a kind of like a bad background, or
Mhm.
how do you reach these children? Because
Mhm.
as far as I know that staff children only working in Jakarta and some places and other places, like you mentioned before, in Sulawesi and the other places, which
Mhm.
is not in all over Indonesia.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, that is a good question, because actually I forgot to mention this as well, because uh I actually mentioned it, but maybe not that deep, which is this is a long-term investment, like I said. And what you actually mentioned about, probably children experiencing assault or abuse. Abuse can be many things. It could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be a lot of things, right? And actually, back in 2021, actually, not 2 months ago, actually, I was the moderator for a campaign for stop violence for abuse or violence for children, towards children. And a lot of the participants that came actually came from this program as well. So that's one of the things that it is possible to do, is that maybe outside of the program, we do some sort of a campaign, and we invite them to join as well. And we have also invited a football player, so they can get excited to join. And in your regarding to your question, how do we try to improve their mental resilience through sports? Well, it is not an immediate impact. We don't want to tell them what to do. When you are experiencing this, then you need to face back, and you need to fight and everything. So maybe we are saying that in a certain way, but not in exactly like that. So what we're trying to do is that we need like one of the one of the theme is that conflict resolution. I want to introduce to them that conflict is in everyday life. Even you are having conflict with yourself. You're trying to figure out what you want. You're trying to figure out what to eat and how do I get the money and everything. And you have conflict with other people. You have conflict with other groups, and you see conflict. Probably they also experience conflict between schools or between football teams. They see that, and we want to teach them that it is possible for conflict to be solved in dialogues. You can do dialogues, and that's one of the things that we teach, is that dialogue is one of the things that you can do as a conflict resolution. And probably that's also IR related as well, because conflict resolution between states, okay, it's actually between two countries, and also it's between two political figures, between two presidents, could be. So yeah, it's also IR related, but like I said, this is grassroots level. So yeah, back to the mental resilience through sports. We want to empower them. We want to equip them with these life skills, with this knowledge, so that when trouble came their way, they know how to deal with them. Because we have emotions, they know how to handle their stress. They know how to handle to manage their emotions. We have communication. We want them to communicate their emotions really well. And then we have identity. We want them to realize that there is only one of them in this world. So they need to appreciate themselves. They need to appreciate who they are. They need to know that they're irreplaceable in a way. Yeah, it's in fact they're irreplaceable. There's just one of them. So these type of topics we want to explore to them, so that there is mental resilience itself, I think. So this is the definition of mental resilience that we want to build. So yeah, the hopes that answers your question, because case on point, because the things that you're talking about is actually really sensitive, right? When we're talking about family issues, abuse or violence in their homes, probably they are not comfortable sharing that. But one of the children that I'm coaching actually mentioned that they often feel that they are guilty when their parents are fighting. So that is not a good emotion, right? There is not a good way to feel when their parents are fighting, but they're the ones feeling guilty. And this is one of the way that we can start to tell them that it is okay for you to feel that way, but is it the right emotion? Is it the right perspective to have? Because we don't ask what happened in their family, right? Because that is not appropriate. But we're trying to give them a new perspective, so that they can not stop feeling guilty anymore. Because there's not a good feeling for children to have. They're 12, 13 years old, but they're seeing their parents fighting, and then they feel guilty of it. So this is where we can go in and try to improve their mental through doing football, through these kinds of sessions that we have in the Zoom sessions when in the pandemic, because in the pandemic we were doing it online in the Zoom. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Debbie.
Oh yeah, I think that's enough. Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Then thank you very much for the question for Miss Debbie Cynthia. Maybe to wait for another question, we will have a little chat maybe.
Sure.
I will give some questions, because actually, to be honest, the topic of child rights has a very warm spot in my heart, and it is not often being talked in, as I am a part of student in international relations. And actually, it is very important, since children will grow up to be the decision maker later on. And children,
Exactly.
and in the times of now, I think some environment, especially in the places of conflict, yes, yeah, in the places of conflict environment, really do not encourage them to build mental resilience, to have the rights they supposed to have, including education, public service, quality of life, and others. In even not in the times of conflict, in the times of pandemic, is also very much like that. I would like to ask a little bit, maybe about children. Through being empathetic and through giving education throughout the medium of sports, especially as you said, in the future you're hoping to build um, not a program, if I think an institution, right? An institution
Yeah,
for
sort
football,
of.
for girls. Yes, for girls, and it is not maybe have there have been any in Indonesia institution or program in terms of football for girls?
Yeah, I think we are the Football Association of Indonesia is starting to improve girls competition for women. So a lot of clubs in Indonesia. So for example, like Persib or Persija Jakarta, they already have women's sports team. So they actually have that, and they have the schools for the academy for the girls that they want to learn more about football. But those are not free of charge. So only several people that are that have enough money to get in that to get that courses. So yeah, that's actually one of the barriers as well for girls to access sports, because it's quite pricey, and it's not it's not, let's say that if you're parents and you're thinking that you have money to manage, and then your girl asks whether she wants to play football, then you will think that that's not the main thing to spend money on. So let's just move to another thing. Then probably you need to study math, you need to study about your formal education, maybe some sort of bimbo, let's say. So yeah, that's one of the barrier as well of women in exploring what they want to do, something like that.
Then may I assume that you building such a program for girls, especially it is free, then you're in support of gender equality, then may I assume?
Yeah, so I want to build it for free of charge. That is the dream. That is the dream. But that is a huge dream that's probably unrealistic. But when I dream of being a football coach, I never dreamed of coaching for an Arsenal project and meeting a football player from Arsenal. I never dreamed of that. Never dreamed of having a working with children. But turns out it came true. So what I mean is that dream unrealistically, so probably will happen. So yeah, I expect it to be free of charge, because I realize that financial problem is one of the barriers that can make girls don't want to come to the academies that I have. And then talking about gender equality, well, I don't know whether to say that I'm for it or against it, because there's no way that you're against it if you're working for girls, right? So let's just say that I want to see that girls think that they can do anything that they want to set their mind on. So it is possible to dream of something that is unconventional. Girls playing football, girls playing volleyball. It's already been out there in the Olympics. You've seen that. Even I watch volleyball and I really enjoy the girls volleyball, because it's much like it's not the strength is probably different, but the excitement and the tactics and everything is just like men's. So there's no difference. Let's just say that. So what I mean to say is that they need to have this platform. because we have so many platforms for boys. Why not for girls as well? So if I'm successful in making one, then it's a step towards the right direction. Let's just say that.
Well, then, thank you very much for the answer. And I think we're about to go to the until the end of this session. Maybe we could have a closing remarks from you, Mr. Nehemia Cesare.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me, and committee. Thank you very much as well for handling this talk. And I hope what I said can inspire you in some way, can motivate you, can also open up a lot of perspective as an IR student probably, or any student from any majors actually, to realize that there's a lot of possibilities in working, and there's a lot of unexplored territories that actually we can go to. And if you're not one of them, then who can explore? So uh, being creative in this modern era is one of the things that is actually an asset. That is, you can do something that is unthinkable, like this program. This is about football, but we're teaching about life. So there's, like I said, there's unexplored territories everywhere. And as an IR student, probably a lot of people here are IR students. You can explore, you can learn anything you set your mind on, because it is possible. It is possible. And maybe if I can say that I can inspire you, because football and international relations have no relevance whatsoever. There's no connection there. But turns out I can make it, and it still helps me a lot, because as you may already notice, my English is doing pretty well, also because of studying international relations, because of Model United Nations. So yeah, you need to explore a lot of things in life, in university life especially. So yeah, hope this talk inspires and motivates you going forward. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for giving us and elaborating to us about a very special and interesting topic. Maybe before we end this session, we would like to have a photo session for for all of the participants. Could you please turn on your camera once again? Do not turn off your camera throughout the session, because it will be monitored. So I will count for the slide 1 in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Wait for a second. Then for the slide 2, may I ask you to prepare? 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And then for the slide 3, in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And then for the fourth slide, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And then for the fifth slide, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And then for the sixth slide, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Then, since we all have reached the very end of this session, well, me, as a part of the committee, we would like to very much thank you. We are very grateful for your for you to participate in this event. Sorry for that. And then for the participants, we would also like to thank you for all of your attendance to this session. And we would like to also remind you that we will have our next session in 3 p.m. GMT +7, and we will have a cooking class. So it will be very interesting. See you all then. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Nehemia Cesare.
Yep. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Cesare.
Thank you, Mas Satya.